This is a very big day, Pascal. If y'all didn't know, my Jeep is named Pascal, specifically so that I can start my day with that joke. Why am I like this? Anyway, today is a big day because we are going on a very different kind of adventure. And it is about 9 o'clock in the morning right now, and we are actually headed to the airport. So today I am actually leaving the island for the first time since I got here in October, and we are heading over to Maui today. I sort of have alluded to this a little bit in a couple of my previous videos. If y'all picked up on that, some of you did. But I'm actually flying over to Maui for a job interview today. So anyway, I am leaving. My flight leaves Kona at 10:40 this morning. I land in Kahului around, I don't know, like 11:20-ish or so. It's about a 40-minute flight. Oh, there's a kitty cat. Hi, baby. Oh, she's so tiny. Anyway, I land in Kahului, and then I have to go pick up a rental car at the airport and then drive 40 minutes down to Lahaina, which is the kind of one area of Maui that I have been before. So I'm not going to specifically talk about where the job interview is because I don't know if they're going to make me an offer or if I'm going to take it. But they did offer to fly me over there, so can't really turn that down. Yeah, I'm like excited to get off island, I guess. Definitely excited to go talk to these people. They seemed really cool on the first phone interview I did with them. Also, mad props to Sue, who was actually over in Lahaina on Wednesday and did kind of some recon for me. Did go over to the property, checked it out, got the stamp of approval from her. So that made me feel good about it. Yeah, so the plan is to fly from Kona to Kahului, drive to Lahaina, do the interview, drive back up to Kahului, and I very annoyingly couldn't find a direct flight home tonight, so I have to fly from Kahului to Honolulu and basically hop off that plane, sprint to my next terminal, and then get on another plane to fly back to Kona. So a little bit of a kind of goofy detour, but that's just how it had to work because my interview isn't until later this afternoon around 3 o'clock, and I kind of got sort of the last flight out of Kahului tonight at like 6 something. So yeah, it was either kind of do that goofy jump or have to stay overnight, and I didn't particularly want to do that because I didn't want to pay for it, is what it boils down to. But anyway, that is the plan. If everything goes smoothly, I hope it will. You never know. But yeah, we'll be obviously taking you along for the ride today, and let's go have an adventure. Hey, good morning, y'all. Today is Tuesday, March 2nd, and we are actually going on a bit of a drive this morning. I'm going up to go get a COVID test up at the testing site in Waimea, and I'm sure future me will probably have already explained to you why I have to get a COVID test. But yeah, we are getting on a plane on Friday, so that is very exciting. It's an hour drive to get up to the testing site for me, which is, love that for me. Yeah, we are on the road now. I have an hour drive ahead of me. Go get my nose swabbed and then drive back. Okay, COVID test is done. Took a lot less time than I thought it would. It was really nice to just kind of like roll up and park, and they had like a little tent set up outside, and just rolled a cart right over to my vehicle, which is nice. So yeah, it's only 11, which is good. I've got plenty of time because I don't have to be anywhere until 2. So I actually get to go home and eat, which I'm excited about because I am pretty hungry. But yeah, at this point I'm just really kind of fingers crossed that the results come in the time I need them to, so that I don't have any issues flying on Friday. Okay, we are in Maui. We are in the rental car right now. They gave me a Kia Soul, which is it's a car I actually almost bought when I moved over to the Big Island, before I found my Jeep. So I think that is pretty funny, but we are officially on the road. I have about a 40-minute drive down to Lahaina, so let's go. Alright, so we have officially walked full lap of Front Street. Kind of did like a low-key drive-by of like where I'm going later. Luckily I'm parked very close to it, so it's a nice short walk. I'm currently actually hiding out my car because I don't know if you can tell from behind me. Sort of there, yeah, focus. Yeah, anyway, it's raining. And I still have like little less than 2 hours before this interview, so yeah, I'm just gonna kind of hang out in my car for a little bit. This will pass in like 20 minutes probably. I'm just gonna hang here, I guess. Anyway, rain luckily kind of cleared out. It's gone. We have done a quick little outfit change, and it's like 10 minutes before I'm supposed to be there, and it's like literally just right around the corner. So now we are just gonna hang out, and I'll probably talk to y'all after. Alright, rain is back with a vengeance now, but I'm a little wet, but just wrapped up the interview here in Lahaina. I think it went really well. I really enjoyed the 2 people that I met with, the GM here for the property in Lahaina, and then the GM for the new property that's going to be opening up. They've asked, if I have a preference of location. I said, Lahaina is cool, but would totally, if they have a spot at the new place, would love to hop up there too. So anyway, yeah, they're gonna call me again in a few days. They have like 2 more interviews, I think. But they said I was only one of a handful of people that they actually wanted to meet in person. So that's baller for me. But anyway, I gotta figure out the windshield wipers on this bad boy and drive 40 minutes back up to Kahului to make my flight back to we're gonna go to Honolulu, first and then home to Kona. So fingers crossed that those flights are running on time because I have a very short window in between them. So let's get going.
These skies have a different light, why noise that keeps me up at night. I can't help but think back to you. I wish that I could find a face that I would recognize. I replay the memory of you. It's been hard, you know I wanted to stay, caught us off guard, but there was no other way. Did you wait? 'Cause I've been counting the days, and I'm calling home to say I'm coming home to you. I'm coming home to you. I'm coming home to you. And I know that it's hard with you, but I'm coming home. Hold on to my embrace, this time I promise it won't break. I'm hoping that things haven't changed. Life took us far apart, but it never took away my heart. Have you been holding it safe? 'Cause it's been hard, you know I wanted to stay, caught us off guard, but there was no other way. Did you wait? 'Cause I've been counting the days.
Right, we are back in Kona. Now I just need to remember where I frickin' parked. Okay, we found Pascal, we are reunited, and now we just have to get out of here. Hey, all, coming at you from the next morning. Didn't really have the energy to film a recap last night because I left the airport, went to Target to go get dinner, ate that, came home and face planted, basically. It is about 6 a.m. Now the next morning, but I thought I would just kind of do a little bit of a recap, explain a few things towards the end of the footage of what was going on there. So I made the drive back from Lahaina up to Kahului, got on my connecting flight over to Honolulu and was starting to get a little bit nervous because the flight was actually late because the plane that we had to get on had left Honolulu late, so it was kind of this chain reaction of lateness, which is honestly a little standard for here in Hawaii, so if you are flying, don't be surprised if that happens. So anyway, landed in Honolulu and was actually taking the exact same plane from Honolulu to Kona, and so the flight crew, asked if anyone on board was, staying to connect to Kona, and it was just me, and they basically said, well, you can just hang out here if you want, we're not going to make you deplane. So then it was just me sitting in this empty plane pretty much by myself when the crew kind of came in to clean in between flights. So that was, I've never experienced that before. Definitely a little bit weird, but it was nice not to have to get up. I literally just had to move 2 rows in front of me from where I had been sitting on the flight over from Kahului, so that was pretty funny. And again, I just want to talk a little bit about kind of the travel procedures that you are going to have to follow if you are flying here in Hawaii. So this is very similar to kind of the steps if you are flying from the mainland and coming over here, but this is specifically about inter-island travel. And so yesterday I was on 3 different islands in one day, which is kind of wild, honestly. Started the day on the big island, flew to Maui, very briefly flew to Oahu, and then flew back to the big island. And in order to do that, even though I was traveling inter-island, I still had to have a negative COVID test, and that is something that you have to have done within 72 hours of your arrival time. And for me, it had to be 72 hours from my arrival time in Maui. So for me, I flew on Friday, so it meant on Tuesday I had to go get a COVID test, and you can't just get any COVID test. If you go on to kind of the Hawaii Safe Travels page, they have a list of kind of approved care providers that will do the test for you. Probably the easiest one to do is go to CVS or Walgreens, are kind of the most popular, but there's a whole list, and I've actually known a few people that took a test without an approved provider, and they were forced to quarantine even though they had results that said negative. And Hawaii will not let you go out and get a test. They do make you do the full quarantine, even if you have that unapproved negative test. Basically, when we landed in Maui, we all kind of had to go through like a checkpoint process, and this was a lot faster, definitely, than when I got here in October when I flew into Kona. And if y'all watched that vlog, I'll link that down below as well if you want to go check that out. But basically, from the time that we deplaned to when I was driving out of the airport, that was 2 hours. And, you know, we went through multiple checkpoints and actually got COVID tested on premises. You know, and we are several months kind of past that. That was right after the state had kind of reopened to travel from the mainland. And because this was inter-island, things were a little bit easier this time. So basically, we still did have to go through a checkpoint where you have to have kind of your negative COVID tests handy, and then when you do your Hawaii Safe Travels forms, it will actually generate a QR code for you that you just scan, and it says like, yes, you know, I have my negative COVID test, yes, I have filled out my health questionnaire, you know, yes, I have uploaded kind of the appropriate documents for travel. You just want to make sure that you have that handy at all times. My suggestion would just be to open the email attachment and screenshot it so it's saved right in your photos instead of waiting for kind of your email to load. So Maui took a little bit longer because there were a few people on the flight who hadn't filled out all of their travel documents appropriately, and kind of just unfortunately those people were at the front of the line and held kind of the rest of us up. But I would say it was probably under 20 minutes to kind of get through that and then down to get my rental car and get out of there. So it really wasn't bad at all. Going back into the airport later when I was leaving to get my connecting flight to Honolulu, it was just, you know, I just had to have my boarding pass and, you know, your ID ready, sort of like normal TSA checkpoint stuff. Also, just fun fact, at every single TSA checkpoint that I went through when I had to show identification, I absolutely got the side eye and the long look of, is this really you? Because my license looks absolutely nothing like me. Because I still have my Massachusetts license, I haven't switched over to Hawaii yet. I really actually need to do that. But Massachusetts, they make you take your glasses off for your picture, and also my hair was very short and black at the time. So obviously we have a little bit of a change going on here. So yeah, I was a little bit surprised that nobody actually said anything, but I definitely got a lot of kind of the side eye about the picture. And when I landed in Honolulu, again, like I said earlier, I actually didn't have to get off the plane, which was a little weird, but Oahu is actually the only island that you currently do not need to have a negative COVID test to fly into. So it wasn't like I had to go and kind of show those documents again. So I sort of got lucky in that aspect, that it was a pretty smooth transition if I literally didn't even have to leave the plane. And coming back into Kona later that night, again, it was just kind of a one security checkpoint. Just make sure you have your QR code and your identification ready. I also took a screenshot of my negative COVID test just to have in my photos for quick access if I needed to present that, which I think the only time somebody asked for it was when I was picking up my rental car. They did ask to see that, even though theoretically you should not have been able to get that far without a COVID test at that point. But yeah, this time coming into Kona was very, very different from October, because I think I was through security in about 7 minutes. Very quick. Also, I was up towards the front of the plane too, which helped that I got off a little bit quicker than the last time where I was seated towards the back. But yeah, this is kind of the first time I have traveled inter-island since the state has reopened, and kind of since the new COVID travel procedures have been put in place. And honestly, it was probably easier than I was anticipating it to be, because again, I did kind of come in with sort of that October experience in my mind, so I was anticipating kind of a long wait at security checkpoints, but everybody was, you know, super professional there, and I think, you know, they understood the importance of kind of getting us through in a timely manner as well. So it was great. Also, I wasn't on a super packed plane at either of the points where I did have to deplane. But anyway, it was a lot of travel yesterday, But you know, I'm glad I was able to do it safely. I was obviously I wasn't traveling for fun. I was traveling for kind of a business reason. You know, I don't think that I would feel comfortable at the moment kind of just going for a day trip just for funsies. You know, I think that it's still important, like, to realize, you know, we're still in a pandemic. You know, it's just because we can kind of island hop a little bit easier now doesn't mean that you have to do that. But it was really nice to get off island, and Maui is such a beautiful island, and it was really great to be kind of back in Lahaina and see kind of life there again, because the last time I went was sort of during COVID, and you know, everything was still kind of shuttered up a little bit. So it definitely was not as bad as the first time I ever went to Maui was cruise ship day, and that was a nightmare. So it was nice to kind of see a different side. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap up the vlog here. So like always, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for some more content, hopefully coming soon.